just have the ushers come up here. You guys may go ahead and take a seat.
We can let the ushers sit for just a second because I got to talk first, and then they get to come up here. I'm all excited because Jerry, could you put that slide up of our attendance and tithes and offerings and all that kind of stuff? Is that up? I want you guys to take a look at that. 113 people. It was not but a year ago when we were barely running about 50 people in here. We also were running somewhere, I can remember when we first started here doing stuff in Mike's house, and when we first moved in here, our contribution to this church on a monthly basis was somewhere around $2,000, $2,200. And we started talking about what it looked like. What would that look like if we started taking a look at the biblical principles of giving, biblical principles of obedience with our finances? And since we started doing that, since I made my guarantee, my money back guarantee, you do an honest tithe for 3 months, and at the end of 3 months, if your spiritual life isn't better, if your home life isn't better, if your relationships with your kids and your wife and everything or husband aren't better, if your relationships at work aren't better, not the same, better. If all of those things aren't improved, then I will write you a check for every penny you've contributed. And I've been making this guarantee, I've been making this money back guarantee for better part of 5 years now. And I've never, ever had to write one check. But what I have seen is when a body of people get serious about God and say, this is what your word says, this is what you've promised us, this is what your guarantees are, then I'm going to step into that guarantee. And I'm going to live in that, and I'm going to walk in that, and I'm going to step out in that. And as soon as you do that, you put yourself out of the earthly realm in the natural realm of the earth into the supernatural realm of heaven. And God blesses individuals when that happens. And when individuals are in a body together, all being blessed, the church becomes blessed. And you can see that we are in a huge phase of growth right now where we have seating issues already. I mean, we just got problems. And I'm excited to have those kind of problems. More churches. I know a guy he's a friend of mine. He pastors a church that has 750 seats, 750 people. And when he started, there was 150 people meeting there. And he's real happy because he's built it up to 320. Now that's speaking to an empty barn, And that's a church that isn't on its growth pattern. It's not a church that is. Clearly, you've got a supernatural outpouring of God, not like what's going on here at Eternal Life. And if you just take a look at that, we're running 10, the thing disappeared again. We've been running $10,000 a month in support of this church. And what that adds up to is at the end of this year, we'll be in a position to do a down payment on $1 million building. Okay? I mean, that's just how the numbers roll out. So if you can stay consistent with your commitment to God, and you stay consistent with your decision to follow Him, you're going to be personally blessed by God in your life. But as you stay in this body, and the body is blessed, we'll also be in a position of being able to solve a seating problem for a long time to come. Do you see how God works? I can't draw a straight line. I can't make it real simple that you do this and this will happen, I can't show you all the steps along the way, but I do know this. If you step into God and into the supernatural realm of heaven here on this earth, your natural life will be changed completely. Ushers, please come on down and collect our giving for this week. Papa, I'm so excited to be here right now, standing with you, standing with this church, standing with what you've blessed in this last, just this year alone, the blessing that you've poured out, the gifting that you've poured out into people's lives, and their life being changed. I ask that you take this money that we're giving, I ask that you multiply it. I ask that you multiply it for your kingdom, for your work on this earth, for your will in our lives. I also ask that you bless the people who, with a loving and giving heart, put money into that basket. Doesn't matter how much it is. It matters what their heart is, God. And I know that that's your word. And the reward will be here and also in heaven. So I just ask you to take this money, take our hearts and our willingness to love you, serve you, and follow you. Take it now and bless it for your kingdom. Amen. We have a special today. One of ours went off to boot camp, and just before he left, we went over to his house and we prayed for him, and then during his time in boot camp, we had some special prayers for him, and he would like to come here today and just kind of talk to us a little bit about his experience on the other side of us praying for him. B, would you come on down and tell us your testimony? You get to have Marco's mic.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mike, Pastor Mark. Hello, she here. I just want to give thanks to everybody who's prayed for me. Thanks to church, my family, my wife, my mom, especially to God, getting me through this. I mean, when I went off to, BMT, basic military training for the Air Force, I didn't think it was that hard. And I feel sorry for those 18, 19-year-old kids who just went in and they don't know nothing. I mean, they're still fresh, but that's how they want them to go in. But I went in as I'm 34 when I went in, and it was hard. I mean, I went there March 14, got on a plane, got to San Antonio, got to Lackland. When I was at the airport, they made us stand all in formation. I'm like, what is this? Right, I'm like, okay, military, all right, I'll just go with it. And then they told us to shut up. I'm like, okay. We got on the bus. It's all like, man, it feels like we're going to prison. So we got to Lackland, the gateway to the Air Force. That's what it is. Everybody who want to get into the Air Force has to go through Lackland. So as soon as we get off the bus, they started yelling at us, telling us to shut up, get in line. And I mean, I tell you, I feel like crap that day, But what was worse was they woke us up at like 4 in the morning. banging, and your heart is pounding. You're like, what's going on? But they make a stand. I mean, out of my 34 years of life, I never got yelled at like that. You know, it feels like they're gonna, you know, physically beat you up. And, you know, sometimes you feel like, you know what, on the street, I think I would have punched you. But, but I'm like, no, I can't do that. So I went through it. But the best feeling was Sunday. I mean, you get away from the MTI, the military training instructor, you get away from them on Sunday. They can't touch you, you go to church. For those people who don't believe and they don't feel like going to church, they're left behind at the dorms. But, you know, for like a lot of us, we're like, come on, let's go. You got to go to church, dude. You got to get away. As soon as I walk in, they play Mercy Me. I can only imagine. And, you know, I look around and tears were just falling from everybody because it was a hard week. You know, we're away from our families. And even, you know, grown man, you see tears falling out. I'm like, you know, because you miss your family. You're away. You're in a different environment. But that's how they do. They break you down. So, you know, we get through. You know, we just wait for breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's all we're doing. Okay, it's breakfast. It's done. Okay. Now we just got to, you know, get through the lunch. Let's say lunch is done. Okay, good. Let's get through dinner. As soon as dinner's done, okay, we got like 3 hours before lights out. And then you get through. And every night I pray, you know, it's like I'm a little chicken, so I don't get on my knees, but I'm like in my covers praying, you know, because everybody else is still sleeping already. And But every Sunday I go to church. They want me to miss church because they want me to do something else. I'm like, no, I have the right to go to church on Sunday. I'm going to church because that's my refuge. You know, I had to get away, go to church. So the best part was, you know, we finally get our name tag. Before we were nobody. You know, they're like, you're just another, you know, person. So we didn't have a name tag, and the MTI, they'll call us, you know, you look old. They call me old man, you know. They go, oh no, they go, Lo, you're old as dirt. Like, what you doing here? I'm like, sir, I'm just here to serve my country, you know. So I just keep on going. And then the best day was, you know, graduation. 2 months, 2.5 months of kind of hellish environment, but you get through. And then I see my wife and my son, you know. I feel so good to see family again, you know. It brings tears to your eyes. And then you get through graduation, and then, boom, you're off. I flew to Mississippi for tech school. And, you know, you get a little bit more freedom, but not much. You're still restricted, you know, you get through. But the hardest was like every week you have a test. You fail your test, you have to go back a week. So I was like, man, I got 2 months of this, you know, I do not want to fail. And then, so, you know, thank God, I just, you know, give, you know, glory to God all the way, because all the time he was always with me. He always helped me, even when I struggle. Like,